So I thank you for arranging time for us. This is the first time we're doing outdoor podcasts with, especially out of Hong Kong. And thank you for having us once again. We're really learning new stuff that I think we want the world also to know about what is tea, and most about what you do and where you're from, what is your name, if you can introduce us a little bit for our listeners.
Yeah, I've already introduced a few times already. My name is Sonam Lama, and I'm a third generation tea man. My great grandfather used to be in tea. He used to tell all lies and take people from Nepal to Darjeeling. There's work out there in Darjeeling. So naive people from Nepal, he used to take them to Darjeeling and tell them like there's money in tea. And so most of the people he took out there were used as the labor force in Darjeeling, because Darjeeling was that time a forest. So they had to uproot the forest and prepare the land, plant some tea. So he established about 70 gardens out there. He helped in establishing 70 gardens out there when the British were planting tea in Darjeeling, maybe in 1835.
It's like 18th century, like 18,
yeah.
mid 18 probably.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 generations that you and your family has been doing tea business there. So apart from that, you told me earlier that that's not how your story started. Like you wanted to do something else, but you wanted to be something else, but you end up doing what is in your DNA. Do you want to like a little bit elaborate for us?
Yeah, actually, I was educated in Sikkim, in a very nice place like Sikkim in Gantok, and then I did my further studies in Delhi University in India. So I always wanted to be a tech guy, or a computer guy or something like that.
But it's not normal, right, for people from especially from Darjeeling or Sikkim to be a tech guy. It's like a thing.
Yeah, it's normal. It was my ambition when I was in school, so I just wanted to pursue that, and I joined. That time there was one institute called NITM, National Institute of Technology and Management. It was a pretty famous institute. I joined that institute also. But as I was doing my studies out there, after I finished my graduation, then my grandfather just wrote me a letter and called me back. And after I came back, I came back home. Like the third day, he wrote me he handed me another letter. To go in one very, very remote place and join tea, especially in research. There I was like 3 months, 4 months. I was just counting insects and counting mites.
Something that you don't want to do, probably.
Yeah.
Then right after that, when I know I'm going a little bit faster, but we can come back later on. What happened in your early age? But so when did it started that, okay, now maybe I want to stay with tea, and then, because I know you've been doing this for, I don't know, like,
yeah, when I was working in that research, like, it was just a government job in a very small, like I was just a trainee that time, and I had a lot of time. Actually, I had a lot of spare time. But during since my college days, I was a very vociferous reader. So I started reading tea journals, tea publications, from research and all that. That house was full of research paper. So slowly, like I then gathered something that I wanted to pursue and go for tea as a career. So that's how it happened.
That's how it happened for you. I think this surrounding by literally right now we're on top of the very beautiful tea plantation. I think what's the tea plantation that is the tea plantation that Dai owns, Bishal Dai, right?
Yeah.
Bishal Dai. What's the shop name again?
Venus
shops. So thank you for them to providing the space. So you didn't like the tea at the beginning. I mean, you didn't want to be a tea person, but later on you like it. So what study that you have done to kind of, let's call you as a tea monk, tea, that's what we call tea master, to be like, because you told me you have been studying in Nepal, and probably in Darjeeling, and probably in China, some other countries. And so how was the study? What was the study actually like?
So after my research work, I worked on 2 papers with some doctors who were doing PhD and all that. So there were different papers. One was on entomology, on things for insects and all that, and another one was quite interesting. Like, it was about the flavonoid compounds of black tea from Darjeeling. So that took me a little bit. The interest rose a little bit, maybe 50% more. And then there was really, the job was really irritating. Go early in the morning, come back, and so I joined a private. Leaving that government job, then I joined a private company where, in people that time in Darjeeling, who would make the best tea, like there were about 78 or 82 tea gardens in Darjeeling, so who would make the best tea and all that. So that was a very interesting opportunity for me. So I joined a private company and worked out there, and then I started exploring the world of tea making as a skill, things like that.
And then what was the study in China that you mentioned?
Then I came to Nepal. Then I got an opportunity to go to travel to China. Then I went to I had an intern study in Hangzhou, in Zhejiang province. And then another was since I had in those days I had a lot of friends who were my professors, so they also gave me another opportunity to do some study in Fujian, in Anxi village. So there I went and lived with farmers and all that, and I came, and then I really understood the culture of tea. Because working in Darjeeling as a tea planter and as a tea maker, you are always accustomed to a certain system that the British had laid down. It is a different kind of tradition.
I think they are the one who started in here. So
yeah, so it is a very colonial kind of thing. You have to do this. It has specific times. It has specific. Everything is so specific. So, but when I went to China, I felt that the culture moved on like a flow,
of tea, right?
Yeah. So it was embedded in the culture, and people tea was embedded in those professors who taught me, whom I learned from, and all that. So that's how I came back to Nepal, and that was a different dimension of approach towards how you view tea as a career or as a product. Or
so I think putting in a small sentence, like here is more like necessity, over there is like lifestyle. In the China, I think the tea. Like
yeah, it's almost
people live tea, people drink tea, people just do make tea.
It's almost a way of life.
Yeah, the living
especially
style.
in the tea villages.
Yeah, especially tea villages. Then you study about the tea over there, you got more inspired.
Yeah.
And you have come over here with one of your something you were mentioning me earlier, like you wanted to start.
Yeah,
one campaign.
When I came back, I started
very energy, okay, I want to do something. Let's do it.
Yeah, I started unique. A campaign called One Farmer, One Tea, and I thought if the farmer himself, who is very close to nature with the tea, who's very close with the tea plant, if he is not involved in making the tea and transforming the tea, that brings allows customers or people to taste the human touch in it, then I think that tea can almost if you have a big factory and there's a big plantation,
yes.
and leaf is coming from big plantations, you don't know who is plucking what and bringing it to a big factory and processing in a very commodity way. I don't think there is the spirit of tea in that commercial tea.
I think you wanted to start something like, let's say, let's call it like, you want to do one, but you want to do the best. That was, I think, that was the whole idea.
Yeah.
But how long it worked for you? I mean, still working?
Yeah, now, actually, when we started with this, I think it was a revolution in Nepal, because in Nepal, everyone thought that, to process tea, you need large investment, big factories, workers, similar, like we were actually we were transferring technology from Darjeeling. So I thought, like, this is not our way. So we have to, instead of transferring technology from somewhere, we have to build our own technology. Nepali tea should have its own essence, its own technique, identity, and own essence. So if the farmers themselves don't get involved in the processing and the making of tea, and even the marketing of tea, then it is impossible for Nepalese tea to be known to the world.
This is something that I think I like to stand for. Like, we don't have to do a massive production. I think we can do a small production, but the good production.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask Sumurai, do we need to check the lighting? It's getting very bright. Is it all good? No, because we started with a dark light and now suddenly it's become very bright. So also, I'm really impressed that you have been working as a tea. As you know, we have a tea bar. This is the whole idea. That's why we came to Ilam now in Fikal, and going to Darjeeling tomorrow to see one of your friends. So how, the question is like, I mean, that's not a question. My question is always I wanted to ask, how can we, there's one tea, one village, one tea, that's what you started. So
one farmer, one tea.
One farmer, one tea, sorry, one farmer, one tea. So did we get a better tea which represent Nepal, and we can proudly say, or proudly promote in our international world?
All these years, it's almost been about 8-9 years I've been keeping students, teaching them, going to their homesteads, living with them. Now we have cultivated, I had many students, like 200, 250 people, but I think now out of them, 18 to 20 farmers are very, very successful, and they have their own facilities to make teas. Some of them are expanding, and I think for me that's
very make me proud of. Yes, but what kind of? I just wanted to ask. So, is there any specific tea that we should try and bring it to a probably international market, like places like Hong Kong, and kind of showcase to the world? If you have any, please let us know. Maybe we'd love to try. But you have we have some of the tea that maybe you can help us to explain as.
Yeah,
yes. Also, so we here for tea definitely, but Dai has a very charming personality. So that's why we started a podcast. So also Dai has the tea shop called tea production company. What do you call tea production company?
It's a
tea Mandela. So
La Mandela.
La Mandela. Which we have some of the clips that we can show you guys later in other videos. But we're trying some of their own production, which Sonam Dai can help me to explain which one is which.
Okay. So this La Mandala Specialty is an 8-year-old company, and I started this company because I couldn't go traveling all around. Nepal is it's quite diverse in the sense, like there is not you don't have a clustered tea village. Some clusters are somewhere in another district, some clusters are somewhere in another district. So I had this idea of bringing people in Mandala and training them out here only, like so that they live and breathe with me, and with the tea out here.
You told me.
So it's almost like a studio company where people come and learn. Even people come from other countries also, from UK, from Taiwan, from Japan also sometimes. Like they come and they take a crash course or something like that. Some sellers like from Bombay, Delhi, they also come and take some crash course. So it's like a small learning company where people have the opportunity to learn, share.
They can still do, right?
Like
if they wanted to come and learn.
Yeah. So that's why we had this company. So now these are all like teas. Mostly my students make.
They're grown here.
Yeah,
They're all grown here. They're very
yeah,
local.
they are grown above 1600 meters of sea level. So our factory is situated 1682 meters of the sea level. So it's high elevation, high grown tea. So on most of these some company in France, they really understood our mission. So now they have been promoting our tea in France. They are selling in their 50 specialty shops in France.
So what is specialty tea there? Because I heard specialty coffee. I mean, I just want to know what is specialty tea.
See, tea is a very, very simple and ordinary beverage as such. In terms of how you view it, how people view it, what is people's approach. It can be complex for people like who take it in a complex way also. But it's a very simple and I think the essence of union between us humans and the tea plant makes it special.
So that's the special.
Yeah. So it is not like you have to pick every cultivar. Of course there are technical specifications. There are technical specifications which like people will learn themselves. When they go through it, they go through that phenomenon of tea making and the phenomenon of tea appreciation. People will learn themselves. I don't teach people like each and every technical point. I just take them in front of a tea plant and tell them, now is your learning time. Now you have to learn how to learn from nature. That's my most important message. Learn to learn from nature.
Learn to learn from nature.
And
so that's the explanation.
That is the explanation of specialty tea. See, specialty tea in very technical terms means like dissection of compounds in volume or quantify something. But since it's a natural product, it varies from day to day, from hour to hour. So we can't be really, dependent upon statistics and things like that. I think now I'm involved with a new program called my own program called Spirit of Tea, where I make people feel the spirit of tea. I think the feeling of people and nature, and it's the union of these feelings. Is the most important essence of specialty tea.
So specialty tea, that we'll talk about definitely the tea spirit, also the spirit of tea. And also in France, you mentioned, so they also, when they sell specialty tea, they also have this kind of explanation to their guests, or they just tell them, oh, this is specialty tea because it's come from a special place. Or
actually, our person who is selling these teas, who's promoting our teas, he always, every year he brings about 12 to 13 people from his shops, whoever are selling it, especially tea sellers from his company. So they come here, we interact and we tell them everything about tea, about how we made this tea, like how it just happened, because some teas, they just happen, you don't have to make it.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah, it just works. It just happens.
But we can't repeat the same process. It just happened like.
Yeah, it just happens.
Like a song. Like let's say, when they said, I was listening to one of the band actually. They were talking about, so the YouTube the interviewer asked, so how did you come up with the song, the best song of their band? He said it was just 5 minutes. Yeah. It just happened. So that can happen also to you.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are working with nature. See, when you go and you always when you suppose someone asks you, like you are asking me now, like to make it into an alcoholic beverage, or to blend it with alcohol. What do can you give me some advice or something like that? So it just clicked in my mind that I can give you a flavor compound which can be more Damascus, which could be appley or near lychee, very fruity. But to that, now to achieve that is my target, To achieve that, I have to go to the field, just like talking to the plants. I have to see the right time when the leaves has to be plucked. So those are all technical things. But technical things are two things. Technical things one comes from knowledge or memory that you have stored, and one comes from intuition. And in my lifetime, 24 years of tea making, I think my success teas are only that had come from intuition, not from knowledge.
Not from knowledge, right?
And this really has made me really trust this the spirit of tea and the spirit of nature.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. Like, I'm also from Nepal, but the some of the thing that I was telling you this morning, right? Some of the thing that we can't explain, like it just happened, like either good thing or bad thing, or what we do something in day-to-day living, our lifestyle. But I think the weather and also the environment also maybe play to think that spiritual that you have probably, because it looks a very beautiful place. And now actually it's getting hot. It was so cool earlier, and now it's become very clear and very shiny. So you've been living here, grew up here, and then the idea of tea is here, and now you kind of a master in tea. But this is another question that I have. Like, so now I'm sure you know the tea, and then the process of tea, how the tea grow, how actually tea make. But now
this master thing is a terminology. Actually, nobody can master nature.
Yes.
You cannot be the master of nature. Actually, nature is your master.
In terms of in our level, in our
language,
in our level. So, but now you're moving to you mentioned you're starting this new idea, or I don't know, some sort of program, the spiritual tea, right? Spiritual tea.
Spirit of tea.
Spirit of tea. So, what's the insight? What do you want people to know about?
During whatever you asked me, I told you about the spirit spirit of nature, the spirit of tea. I felt it because I'm living in such a nice environment. I go and be with the plants. So now I can just feel it. Now people who drink tea very unconsciously, early in the morning, they just get up, they just maybe have a cup of tea for a shot of dopamine or a shot of, caffeine. Maybe some people like the tea a little bit bitter, some people like sweet, maybe they add some sugar and things like that. So it is a very unconscious effort to be with nature. Since tea is a very natural thing to drink, because it's just the leaves that are being plucked and not really processed, only it's dried, and it's processed, and you get the nature in the cup reflects the nature of that place, or the nature of the person who has converted this tea from a plant, to a drinkable beverage. So those people like who are living in the city, or who are living in places where they don't grow tea, I think it's very important for them to understand the message of the leaf, like what the leaf is actually trying to do to you or telling you. So the spirit of tea is actually a conscious program for self-cultivation, for us to know how nature wants to interact with you, how it resonates with your body. There are some teas, like, I don't say all teas are like a medicine or all teas are marvelous. Some teas are not good for certain type of bodies. Some teas are really, really beneficial, that it might bring a healing effect to your body, and it might change your life. So people have to try different kind of teas. So the spirit of tea is a practice how to cultivate yourself to get into union with something that comes from nature. It is not, if you learn that, then you will not do it only with tea. You can also do it with a fruit, with an orange. You can play around while you are peeling it.